Numbers, chapters 23 and 24. And Balaam said to Balak, Build me here 7 altars, and prepare me here 7 calves and 7 rams. And Balak did as Balaam told him, and offered up a calf and a ram on every altar. And Balaam said to Balak, Stand by thy sacrifice, and I will go and see if God will appear to me and meet me. And the word which he shall show me, I will report to thee. And Balak stood by his sacrifice. And Balaam went to inquire of God. And he went straight forward, and God appeared to Balaam. And Balaam said to him, I have prepared the 7 altars, and have offered a calf and a ram on every altar. And God put a word into the mouth of Balaam, and said, Thou shalt return to Balak, and thus shalt thou speak. And he returned to him, and moreover he stood over his whole burnt offering, and the princes of Moab were with him. And the Spirit of God came upon him, and he took up his parable, and said, Balak the king of Moab sent for me out of Mesopotamia, out of the mountains of the east, saying, Come, curse me, Jacob, and come, call for a curse for me upon Israel. How can I curse whom the Lord curses not? Or how can I devote whom God devotes not? For from the top of the mountain I shall see him, and from the hills I shall observe him. Behold, the people shall dwell alone, and shall not be reckoned among the nations. Who has exactly calculated the seed of Jacob, and who shall number the families of Israel? Let my soul die with the souls of the righteous, and let my seed be as their seed. And Balak said to Balaam, What hast thou done to me? I called thee to curse my enemies, and behold, thou hast greatly blessed them. And Balaam said to Balak, Whatsoever the Lord shall put into my mouth, shall I not take heed to speak this? And Balak said to him, Come yet with me to another place, where thou shalt not see the people, but only thou shalt see a part of them, and shalt not see them all, and curse me them from thence. And he took him to a high place of the field, to the top of the quarried rock, and built there 7 altars, and offered a calf and a ram on every altar. And Balaam said to Balak, Stand by thy sacrifice, and I will go to inquire of God. And God met Balaam, and put a word into his mouth, and said, Return to Balak, and thus shalt thou speak. And he returned to him, and he was also standing by his whole burnt sacrifice, and all the princes of Moab with him. And Balak said to him, What has the Lord spoken? And he took up his parable, and said, Rise up, Balak, and hear. Hearken as a witness, thou son of Sephor. God is not as man to waver, nor as a son of man to be threatened. Shall he say and not perform? Shall he speak and not keep to his word? Behold, I have received commandment to bless. I will bless and not turn back. There shall not be trouble in Jacob, neither shall sorrow be seen in Israel. The Lord his God is with him. The glories of rulers are in him. It was God who brought him out of Egypt. He has, as it were, the glory of a unicorn. For there is no divination in Jacob, nor enchantment in Israel. In season it shall be told to Jacob and Israel what God shall perform. Behold, the people shall rise up as a lion's whelp, and shall exalt himself as a lion. He shall not lie down till he have eaten the prey, and he shall drink the blood of the slain. And Balak said to Balaam, Neither curse the people at all for me, nor bless them at all. And Balaam answered and said to Balak, Spoke I not to thee, saying, Whatsoever thing God shall speak to me, that will I do? And Balak said to Balaam, Come, and I will remove thee to another place, if it shall please God, and curse me them from thence. And Balak took Balaam to the top of Fogor, which extends to the wilderness. And Balaam said to Balak, Build me here 7 altars, and prepare me here 7 calves and 7 rams. And Balak did as Balaam told him, and offered a calf and a ram on every altar. And when Balaam saw that it pleased God to bless Israel, he did not go according to his custom to meet the omens, but turned his face toward the wilderness. And Balaam lifted up his eyes, and sees Israel encamped by their tribes, and the Spirit of God came upon him. And he took up his parable, and said, Balaam, son of Beor, says, The man who sees truly says, He says, who hears the oracle of the Mighty One, who saw a vision of God in sleep. His eyes were opened. How goodly are thy habitations, Jacob, and thy tents, Israel, as shady groves, and as gardens by a river, and as tents which God pitched, and as cedars by the waters. There shall come a man out of his seed, and he shall rule over many nations, and the kingdom of Gog shall be exalted, and his kingdom shall be increased. God led him out of Egypt. He has, as it were, the glory of a unicorn. He shall consume the nations of his enemies, and he shall drain their marrow, and with his darts he shall shoot through the enemy. He lay down, he rested as a lion, and as a young lion. Who shall stir him up? They that bless thee are blessed, and they that curse thee are cursed. And Balak was angry with Balaam, and clapped his hands together. And Balak said to Balaam, I called thee to curse my enemy, and behold, thou hast decidedly blessed him this third time. Now therefore, flee to thy place. I said, I will honor thee, but now the Lord has deprived thee of glory. And Balaam said to Balak, Did I not speak to thy messengers also, whom thou sentest to me, saying, If Balak should give me his house full of silver and gold, I shall not be able to transgress the word of the Lord to make it good or bad by myself. Whatsoever things God shall say, them will I speak. And now, behold, I return to my place. Come, I will advise thee of what this people shall do to thy people in the last days. And he took up his parable and said, Balaam the son of Beor says, The man who sees truly says, hearing the oracles of God, receiving knowledge from the Most High, and having seen the vision of God in sleep, his eyes were opened. I will point to him, but not now. I will bless him, but he draws not near. A star shall rise out of Jacob, a man shall spring out of Israel, and shall crush the princes of Moab, and shall spoil all the sons of Seth. And Edom shall be an inheritance, and Esau his enemy shall be an inheritance of Israel. And Israel wrought valiantly. And one shall arise out of Jacob, and destroy out of the city him that escapes. And having seen Amalek, he took up his parable and said, Amalek is the first of the nations, yet his seed shall perish. And having seen the Kenite, he took up his parable and said, Thy dwelling place is strong, yet though thou shouldest put thy nest in a rock, and though Beor should have a skillfully contrived hiding place, the Assyrian shall carry thee away captive. And looked upon Og, and took up his parable, and said, Oh, who shall live when God shall do these things? And one shall come forth from the hands of the Sycians, and shall afflict Assur, and shall afflict the Hebrews, and they shall perish together. And Balaam rose up and departed, and returned to his place. And Balak went to his own home. Psalm 48, 49 in Hebrew, verses 10 through 20. When he shall see wise men dying, the fool and the senseless one shall perish together, and they shall leave their wealth to strangers. And their sepulchres are their houses forever, even their tabernacles to all generations. They have called their lands after their own names, and man, being in honor, understands not. He is compared to the senseless cattle, and is like to them. This their way is an offense to them, yet afterwards men will commend their sayings. Pause. They have laid them as sheep in Hades, death shall feed on them, and the upright shall have dominion over them in the morning, and their help shall fail in Hades from their glory. But God shall deliver my soul from the power of Hades, when he shall receive me. Pause. Fear not when a man is enriched, and when the glory of his house is increased. For he shall take nothing when he dies, neither shall his glory descend with him. For his soul shall be blessed in his life. He shall give thanks to thee when thou dost well to him. Yet he shall go into the generation of his fathers. He shall never see light. Man that is in honor understands not. He is compared to the senseless cattle, and is like them. Proverbs chapter 10, verses 6 through 10. The blessing of the Lord is upon the head of the just, but untimely grief shall cover the mouth of the ungodly. The memory of the just is praised, but the name of the ungodly man is extinguished. A wise man in heart will receive commandments, but he that is unguarded in his lips shall be overthrown in his perverseness. He that walks simply walks confidently, but he that perverts his ways shall be known. He that winks with his eyes deceitfully procures griefs for men, but he that reproves boldly is a peacemaker. The Holy Gospel according to St. Mark, chapter 4, verses 1 through 20. And he began to teach by the seaside, and there was gathered unto him a great multitude, so that he entered into a ship, and sat in the sea, and the whole multitude was taught by the sea on the land. And he taught them many things by parables, and said unto them his doctrine, Hearken, behold, there went out a sower to sow. And it came to pass, as he sowed, some fell by the wayside, and some of the fowls in the air came and devoured it up. And some fell on stony ground, where it had not much earth, and immediately it sprang up, because it had no depth of earth. But when the sun was up, it was scorched, and because it had no root, it withered away. And some fell among the thorns, and the thorns grew up, and choked it, and it yielded no fruit. And other fell on good ground, and did yield fruit that sprang up and increased, and some brought forth, some 30, and some 60, and some 100. And he said unto them, He that hath ears to hear, let him hear. And when he was alone, they that were about him with the 12 asked of him the parable. And he said unto them, Unto you it is given to know the mystery of the kingdom of God, but unto them that are without, all these things are done in parables, that seeing they may see, and not perceive, In hearing they may hear and not understand, lest at any time they should be converted, and their sins should be forgiven them. And he said unto them, Know ye not this parable? And how then will ye know all parables? The sower soweth the word, and these are they by the wayside, where the word is sown. But when they have heard, Satan cometh immediately, and taketh away the word that was sown in their hearts. And these are they likewise, which are sown on stony ground, who, when they have heard the word, immediately receive it with gladness, and have no root in themselves, and so endure but for a time. Afterward, when affliction or persecution ariseth for the word's sake, immediately they are offended. And these are they which are sown among thorns, such as hear the word, and the cares of this world, and the deceitfulness of riches, and the lusts of other things entering in, choke the word, and it becometh unfruitful. And these are they which are sown on good ground, such as hear the word, and receive it, and bring forth fruit, some 30-fold, some 60, and some 100.